Welcome everybody to the Single and Stiletto Show. I'm Suzanne Oshima and I'm a matchmaker and dating coach at Dream Bachelor and Bachelorette, and I'm also the founder of Single and Stilettos. Today we have on our show Iris Benrubi, and she's a relationship and intimacy coach at Simply Success. And I'm so excited to have her here today because today she's going to give us 3 of her best tips on how to attract the right man. But before we jump into it, Iris, I would love for you to tell our audience a little bit about you and how you became a relationship and intimacy coach.
So this career is my 4th career. My 3rd career was as a real estate agent. And then my daughter, when she was 12, brought me home this little letter for anybody who wanted to teach parenting. I figured I don't need any help with parenting. I was pretty arrogant. But I wouldn't mind learning how to stand up in front of a group and delivering a speech without really shaking. And then over time, as I applied the principles to my kids, was like, oh my God, this is so much easier. This is what I want to do for people. So I went back and I got my master's in counseling psychology. And over time, I noticed that the quality of people's lives, their social connections, were really a direct reflection of their ability to be emotionally intimate with themselves and with other people. So that's why I got into this.
That's awesome. Well, so give us your first tip on how a woman can attract the right man.
So the first thing for women is to be in their feminine.
Okay.
You know, we're just in a society where we can be so self-sufficient, you know, especially if women out there are single moms and they're working and bringing in an income, and we're in our masculine a lot of the time, whether we're working or not. There are things to do, things to get accomplished, you know, quotas to meet. And so we're in this doing phase, and it just puts us in competition with a man. A man doesn't want to date another man. I mean, assuming we're talking about straight relationships, he wants a woman. Just even listen to how my voice has changed. When I talk about when a woman is in her masculine, then she's doing and achieving and blah, blah, blah. But when she's in her feminine, this is a very different place. And this is what attracts, if you want the alpha man, and it doesn't mean a man who's going to dominate you, but rather a man that's going to take care of you. He needs to be in that masculine place, and you need to be in your feminine place. And for women, it's really trying to figure out, how do you transition? Because there are times that you need to be in your masculine. But how do you transition into this feminine? For me, it's music and dance. Mm-hmm. Everyone gets to find their way.
I can't stress enough to the women watching this video or listening on the podcast how important this tip is that Iris just gave. And it's a tip that's not talked about often enough, and a lot of women don't know it. And how you talked about, we're all in that role of we're taking care of things, we're doing this, we're in our masculine energy. And I, for one, and I know Iris, you're this way too, is we're both strong, independent women. There's nothing wrong with that. But where I used to make the mistake in my 20s and 30s is I didn't know how to turn it off. I always tried to take control of everything and try to do everything, and I didn't realize back then that was totally attracting men. Not until I got into being a dating coach and a relationship coach did I actually find out this is like not what men want. It actually detracts them and sends them away. So that's an awesome tip. So tell us our second tip.
So the second tip is really tough for women, and it's about surrendering to your man. And I want the women listening just to notice what the reaction when I talk about surrendering to their man. You know, when I teach salsa, I'm an intermediate dancer. So when I teach beginners, I get the men and women to start with putting the woman's hand, put her hand in the man's hand, and have him move around and have her follow it. And the idea is for him to make it easy for her to follow and for her to surrender to his lead. And usually the reaction when I say surrender, it's like, because surrender often feels like weakness. But you can't have 2 people that are leading, not in dance and not in a relationship. It doesn't mean that you don't have a say or an opinion. But I know even with my daughter, when she's driving, when her husband is driving, she's often telling him, park here, turn here, change lanes already. And when we talk about it, and she says, but Mom, we can get there so much faster. And I tell her, you get to be right or you get to be happy. Let your man be a man. Surrender to his lead. He lived to the age of whatever he is until now without your help. He can manage now also.
That is so true. And also, like, in giving that example you did of your daughter, telling her husband where to go, where to turn, where to park, it almost emasculates him because it makes him feel like he's incapable of anything. And I always try to make my clients see things in reverse. What if a man kept telling you how to drive, where to park, and but you would get so annoyed you wouldn't want to be around him anymore. So I think that's a great example.
Yeah. And it's really hard for women because sometimes I know that with my daughter and with myself, we do think a lot faster and we can see way ahead where to change lanes and where to park. And then until the guy actually realizes, oh, there's a parking spot, somebody else has taken it.
Right.
But you have to choose whether you want to be the dominant one in the relationship or let him take another 3 minutes to get you to your destination, another 2 minutes to find parking, and in the end, you end up cuddling together, not being at odds because you're telling each other what to do.
Right. And I like how you stress that it's not that, like, a woman can't do certain things or you have to completely surrender and let him take care of everything. It's not that way. But when he is taking the lead, let him take the lead fully, right?
Right.
So, Iris, tell us your third tip on how to attract the right man.
I've got so many tips in my head. I think I'm going to go with a woman really needs to know who she is, what she brings to relationship, and prize herself. Now, when I say prize yourself, it doesn't mean you're any better than anyone else or they're not valuable. It's really getting that I'm a prize. And the example that I use, when you go to a fair and the guys put their money down, they take a ball and they try to get it on the target and they miss and they put their money down and try it again and money down and try it again. You're the same prize. He actually has to work to get you. You're the big prize at the fair. And so when we can really own that part, we don't need to turn ourselves into a pretzel to try and figure out what our man wants. But when we own who we are, our man is picking us for who we are, so we don't have to try. We just need to be in our feminine and allow that man to take care of us.
Right. And it's important for women. I really want to stress this, is that women need to know their self-worth and have high self-esteem, because that's what's going to attract the right man. An insecure woman about her looks or whatever it is that's going on in her life is actually going to attract the right man for her.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, these have been some great tips. So, Iris, tell our audience how they can find you.
So they can find me at iris@simplysuccess.ca, and it's .ca because I'm in Canada. And I actually have a free offer. Is that okay to share, Suzanne?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I have an ebook called The 8 Principles on How to Have a Man Love, Adore, and Cherish You and Treat You Like a Queen. And I can send you that for free. Just send me an email at iris@simplysuccess.ca.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for joining us on the Single on Stiletto Show. Our show is available both in video format and podcast format. If you like to view the videos, you can go to singleonstilettos.com, or you'd like to get the podcast, you can download it from iTunes. If you'd like to get our free ebook on the 3 secrets guaranteed to attract any man based on scientific research, you can click here on the video, or you can go to singleonstilettos.com.